every time I say that it's a crazy week, things just seem to get crazier. So I'm just going to leave that there. So me, my ice and lime water, we're going to have a good week. And I'll tell you, one of the weekend, one of the things that keeps popping through is so many people are in dire straits, or they feel like they're in dire straits, and they're in positions where they feel like they're going to lose everything. Same thing here. I mean, really everything, just everything. The point is, I got through it. That doesn't mean it's over. What that means is that I've learned something, and I planned on learning something, initiating this whole thing. When this thing initiated, I took it upon myself to say, hey, whatever this is that's coming that I can feel is not the best, that I'm just going to have to sit back, try and say it as little as possible and learn from it, which essentially that's happening. I'm kind of in the middle of that right now. And I feel like that this has happened to family members who, are calling me in the middle of the night and saying, hey, I need some help. And just talking people through. And it's not like it's the coaching side. It's the coaching and like a support, a mental health support person that I was. I don't even want to say person. I helped people, hopefully. True that. Yes, I did. That's a different rabbit hole. But I guess my point is, one of the things that kept coming up and coming up and coming up is that, old adage of, if you feed them fish, you feed them for a night, but if you teach them how to fish, there you go. Teach them how to fish, how to cook, the whole 9 yards. And sometimes people need to definitely be, step through that process. The other thing is that when we are living in a mindset of lack, same. I mean, nobody escapes this. Nobody escapes this because it's such a deep programming that we are in a society for the greater masses, for the good of the minority. Put an E in front of that and spell that little word out if you know what I'm talking about. But I guess the point is that we are the ones who are in control of ourselves, including our thoughts, our moods, our emotions. It doesn't feel like that sometimes because there's so much going on around us, too many distractions. We have to pull our energy in, get grounded, reconnect, and figure out what we need to cut away. This has been very prevalent in the last, I'm going to say, few months, but I think it came to a peak early this week, and it just feels like some need some encouragement. Simple words would do. There, maybe that'll be good enough for some, and you can just hightail it, enjoy your weekend. My thing is that if you really need help, you need to ask, but hopefully those aren't going to just spoon feed the help. All right. So if somebody tells me they need a job, what kind of job you want? What kind of job? What do you want to do? What are you comfortable doing? What are you uncomfortable doing? Because sometimes we need to be uncomfortable. Most of the time we need to be uncomfortable to stay motivated, because that's just part of being in this particular realm at this point. So if you want a job, you can't just sit there and talk about it. You have to figure out what you want, where you want to go. You have to figure out the logistics. How am I going to get there? How am I going to get back? Is it going to help me pay for things? There's all this 3D stuff. So if ask for things from other people, like a job, hey, can you give me a job? You have to fill out the application. You have to do the work. And then once you get the job, you have to really do the work. And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to get corrected. And that's okay. That's part of this expansion process. Dang, I don't have my other little phone, my recording thing in here. So I'm going to save that for my coffee, tea, and wine. I might start having to do those as recordings and just post them as premieres, because it's getting really hectic for me to cut my my ever precious time in half and I can record them when that spirit message is fresh. So again, having said all of that, for those needing help, for those looking to get some release and relief from the pressures, and myself included. So this is for the collective, including me, that what can we do? What can we do to make our lives better, to avoid saying, I hope this happens, instead of saying, I'm making this happen. And saying I'm making this happen is not good enough. You have to take action on it. We have to take action on it. You know, if I wanted to lose weight, I have to figure out a plan, a diet plan, an exercise regimen that's going to help me accomplish that particular goal. If I wanted to buy a house, I could, say, hey, I want to buy this one. What does it take? You have to step yourself through it. If you don't know how to do that, that's when you reach out to the professionals. It's the same thing with breaching any kind of feelings of lack and inadequacy. You can get counseling for it. Most people have some sort of insurance to help you get professional counseling. If you need spiritual counseling, find somebody who is like an ordained minister or who knows how to do proper coaching. That's what I do. Not in the day job, but I mean, that's what I do. So if you could please, you and I, go through and figure out what it is that we need to do, because we've been hit so hard with so many heavy energies, and it feels like it's trying to keep us in that stuck state. Let's not let that happen. Let's take ownership of it. Let's clean away the cobwebs and let's make something good happen. Let's see what help we can get from the universe, from the original source, the original word, the creator of all. Put whatever name you want on it that fits your particular religious paradigm. That's okay. It's about a belief system. And you know what I call that? It is a belief system, and it should be flexible and changing. I'm going to flip the camera back. There we go. Now I did rotate that around. I did clear the table a little bit, and you know what? I didn't check yeah, it's fine. I have to check the microphone, make sure. But I sometimes I really don't like to see the bottom of the deck, but I was actually guided to look at the bottom of the deck, and it is the Four of Pentacles, and it may not mean anything right now, but it might later. Pretty cool card. I'm just going to put this on top of it. That's malachite right there, but Dalmatian jasper. What a good bit of fun that is. All right, so I am feeling rather parched already. Please do like, share, subscribe. Please, 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 please pass it on to someone that you feel might benefit from this, because things are not going to get easier for some, for many. Okay, we can't be rigid. We have to be flexible. And the word lithe. The word lithe, I mean, that's supple, and it's just going with the flow. That doesn't mean we are pushed around. It means we go with the flow and we still make our goal. It's still a forward motion. Lime ice water is the best when it's been hot out. So it's like I'm gonna have to slide the cards out. I don't want to see what's coming next. So you know what I should probably do? I'm going to lower the camera. You're not going to see the cards on the side, but that's okay because I only have so much room anyway to lay these bad boys out. So anyway, so King of Cups, Squirrel. Yeah, it's been that week. And it's a very, very deep, intense, heartfelt, spiritual. I heard it was like a depression, but it's like a dimple. It's not a rough edged thing. It's a dimple. So we might be sitting in this bottom of this dimple, and I don't know, maybe I'm getting that from the shape of the cup. But if we're sitting in the bottom of this dimple, we can't necessarily see what's outside of that, and that might be hindering us too. This is where going within and staying in touch with that self And this being the King of Cups, we're usually pretty intact with emotions, very solid. I don't think there's remorse here. There might be something trying to come in and tell you that you are having regrets. I don't believe that either. I think this is a dimple in this kingly, heartfelt, solid being that we are, and something is trying to keep us suppressed in that dimple. Ah, tower. This is a blessing in disguise. Tower and blessing because look at all these flowers. And the astral plane is multidimensional, celebrating that this positive, maybe even shocking change, we might even be shocked of this change that we're going through. Don't become overly engrossed. Okay, so this just got brought up is that sometimes it's usually the Queen of Cups, though, that gets, too much in her head and is hypersensitive. We don't want to be that. Tapping into our youthful energy is good, but just like the wisp, I don't know if you can I'll try and point to it. It's right there. It's right there at the top of the cup. But there's like a little gentle wisp rising up. And that's going to integrate into the ether if we don't take advantage of it. It's not going to stay there forever. It doesn't mean you're not going to accomplish your goals or as some people say, their mission by the end of their days. It means that you may have to have something orchestrated, coordinated to get you to this place where you can learn whatever's here. Whatever. I don't like the idea of lessons, but just gain more inner knowledge of who and what and you are and where you are. I don't know if you can hear the rasp in my voice. My goodness. All right. There might be some very deep programming and belief systems that out of the devil you know type energy, we might be clinging to that. We might be willing to submit to this religious figurehead because I still feel like this is us. Yeah. It's definitely an intrinsic battle, but it's a spiritual one. And we might have one of those little imps on our shoulder talking into our ear. Look at that card. Talking into our ear about what it is that we have done wrong. And this is what, and how many people have been told by the government and religious leaders how we're a total mess. And if we're divinely created, how can we be a total mess? I know that kind of crosses the line for some people. Yeah. And this is kind of a follow-up. This is one where it's like skirmish because the wands here, this is like what we've already been through because these wands have not budded. This is like a practice test. And it's like these different colors that we see that are representations maybe of our different aspects of self. Yeah, and we are lit from within, and we are learning about this, and it's going to be hard to not have some sort of internal battle with some of the messages that we're getting. Now, I know this says temperance, which is different than temper, but it also feels like we need to manage our moods and emotions. We need to find some sort of, and this goes along with strength. I had pulled some cards earlier for me, and the strength card came out. And it's like these, that's strength. Temperance builds strength. When you have tempered glass, if they just put regular glass in an oven, it wouldn't be able to handle the heat. So they have to temper the glass, goes through a heating and cooling process. And that makes the glass so it can handle those extremes. Yeah, another page, guys. Yeah. You know, it's almost like we're in this really is a stuck state. And I don't know about others, but anybody that I've talked to throughout the day, they're all struggling to get proper sleep. Yeah, look at that. Temperance. How about the Two of Pentacles? And I think these decisions are preying on our minds as to, you know what I mean? That it's like you got to, it's just this or that. And I think the thing with this, oh my gosh, it's not just this or that. We have all these other manifesting or manifestations around us. They're trying to tell us we have way more options than just these two. And it's finding the strength within us and re- get control of the thoughts and the imagination. Here's the imagination right here. Oh, I never noticed this card. Oops. So this is the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man typically is one that is in the process of putting himself in a difficult position to learn something, to gain knowledge on something, to gain enlightenment, to have a deeper understanding. That's why we're going through what we're going through. This is the work that we need to do with support and guidance from, our friends and our family. Anything that you have in the material realm that is you feel is lacking will disintegrate. That lack will disintegrate once you realize regaining that enlightenment, and you'll be able to draw in. Yeah. And it's not going to be comfortable, y'all. It is definitely not going to be comfortable because this is the 10 of Swords. And the Ten of Swords really does have this. It's like the shock factor, kind of like the Tower, but the Tower. It can be a good, which I feel this is good because it's raising awareness. This one, maybe as a result of all these things, is going to make us so uncomfortable that we have to make a quick decision. I don't know. Don't do anything risky. That's why I say consult. Yep. And she's very thoughtful. And this is communication. Could be communication with yourself, could be communication with others, but it's definitely a small version of planning. But planning we need to have steps. We need to take those steps. Oh boy, here she comes. I'm a water sign and I am the Queen of Cups. So here we have it, the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. She needs that balance. I think she's the one. She's that aspect of who we are that is looking for that enlightenment. Anything else? There's nothing else. I hope this was helpful to someone. Again, like, share, subscribe. Please do reach out. My email and contact information is below. But again, if you learn how to fish, nobody taught me how to fish per se. A lot of the things I've learned throughout my life, I have done the research and figured out how to do it myself. right down to making bread without any store-bought yeast or anything like that, making some phenomenal things. The idea is that we need to do the work. We get the support that we need to help us accomplish those goals. Eliminating those feelings of lack is going to be really important for us to be able to move forward. I appreciate each and every one. Thank you so much for all of your support. And I do look forward to hearing from everyone, and see you on the flip side.